Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Maybe I noticed it because a couple of weeks ago I did my morning live stream on women who were named in the Gospels. A couple of the women we talked about were those who went to the tomb on Easter morning to anoint the body of Jesus. There are customs they observed to prepare a body properly for burial, and because Jewish days begin at sundown, and when sundown came on the day Jesus died, the Sabbath began, and there wasn't time to properly anoint his body. So it had to wait until daylight on Sunday. So I guess I was thinking about the devotion of these women who got up before sunrise to lovingly tend to the body of their Lord. And then I began to wonder what they were thinking. They had placed their hope in Jesus, and now he was gone. Hope was gone. But more than that, as a practical matter, their plan just didn't make much sense. The Bible even describes the hopelessness of their situation. While they were on the way, they were asking each other, "Who will roll away the stone for us so that we can do what we want to do?" They got up, prepared the spices and oils, and headed out with no realistic hope to be able to enact their plan. And still they went. Jesus, their hope, was gone. But even in the darkness of their grief and loss, even through their bitter tears, they held on to a glimmer of hope that they could care for him still. That's how hope works. Hope shines brightest when things are the darkest. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "But I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars." That's the gift of hope those women had that day. There's a well-known story about John Todd, a 19th century clergyman. When he was 6 years old, both his parents died. A kind-hearted aunt raised him until he left home to study for the ministry. Later, this aunt became seriously ill, and in distress she wrote Todd a letter. Would death mean the end of everything, or could she hope for something beyond? Here, condensed from the autobiography of John Todd, is the letter he sent in reply. It is now 35 years since I, as a boy of 6, was left quite alone in the world. You sent me word you would give me a home and be a kind mother to me. I have never forgotten the day I made the long journey to your house. I can still recall my disappointment when, instead of coming for me yourself, you sent your servant Caesar to fetch me. I remember my tears and anxiety as, perched high on your horse and clinging tight to Caesar, I rode off to my new home. Night fell before we finished the journey, and I became lonely and afraid. "Do you think she'll go to bed before we get there?" I asked Caesar. "Oh, no," he said reassuringly. "She'll stay up for you. When we get out of these here woods, you'll see her candle shining in the window." Presently we did ride out into the clearing, and there, sure enough, was your candle. I remember you were waiting at the door, that you put your arms close about me, a tired and bewildered little boy. You had a fire burning on the hearth, a hot supper waiting on the stove. After supper, you took me to my new room, heard me say my prayers, and then you sat beside me till I fell asleep. Someday soon, God will send for you to take you to a new home. Don't fear the summons, the strange journey, or the messenger of death. God can be trusted to do as much for you as you were kind enough to do for me so many years ago. At the end of the road, you will find love and a welcome waiting, and you will be safe in God's care. Psalm 25:5 says, "Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God my Savior, and my hope is in you all day long." In Jesus, the hope of a home is made real. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.